All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. We are going to get started. And first up, we're going to have Mary Rasmussen, who is the National Forest Service Public Information Officer, and she'll be talking to you for a few minutes. And then she'll introduce to you Tony Shaka. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Mary Rasmussen, and I represent Tony Shaka's Type 1 Incident Management Team. As many of you all know, we took command of the fire at 0800 this morning. There's a lot of moving parts. We are getting set up over at the Prescott High School, where ICP will be, including getting some phone lines dedicated to media as well as public. So I'm going to ask for your patience a little bit. With that in mind, though, we do have some information to share with you on what's going on today and what we expect to see over the next day or two. So with that, I'll introduce Incident Commander Tony Shaka.
Thank you, Mary. Good morning, everyone. As Mary said, I'm Tony Shaka with the Southwest Type 1 Incident Management Team. I'm sure that some of the stuff you're going to want to know is where are we with containment. So let's start out from the beginning. 0% containment, although we do have a good anchor on the heel of the fire, which is south of the Iron Springs Road. Yesterday, the local resources did a wonderful job in securing an anchor and moving forward. Right now, evacuations. We have Granite Basin, Alto Recreation Area, Blackjack, Camp Anytown, American Ranch, Sundown Acres, Cial Grande, Dome Road, Sedinsky Drive, Mint Creek, 460 total homes evacuated at this time. Road closures, Williamson Valley Road and Iron Springs Road, Contreras Ranch and Iron Springs Road, Pioneer Parkway and Williamson Valley Road, Outer Loop Road and Williamson Valley. So those are our closures. We have 25 crews and 50 engines either on scene or will be on scene. Presently, I'll step away from the mic, but I'll give you a quick picture. Crews have anchored and flanked this piece on the bottom, considered our anchor point. As we're speaking, dozers and crews are pushing the dozer line at the base of the wilderness, flanking this fire, trying to find a pinch-off point up in here. As you look out the window, what you're seeing is this fire push around the backside of Granite Mountain down toward Granite Basin Lake. Aviation assets on scene are 5 heavy air tankers, 5 heavy helicopters, 5 fixed-wing aircraft. We're presently engaged in some pretty good firefighting out the window. As you can see, no structures lost to date as I just got the update. I think that's all the statistics I have. What kind of questions would you have?
What's the acreage up to at this point?
Acreage at this point, as of this morning on their infrared flight, was 5,088 acres. I'm sure it's grown based on when I'm looking out the window, probably a few hundred since then.
Can you talk about the winds today and how that's going to affect the firefight?
As of yesterday, to put it in perspective, the fire moved about 5,000 acres in an 8-hour period. So you're talking about the fire gaining somewhere around 500 or 600 acres an hour, with winds that were a little bit less than today's. Today's winds are supposed to be predicted even higher, so it's going to definitely create some containment issues for us.
Can you talk about how close the fire is right now to some of these homes? It looks dangerously close.
Last night when I was out, we were engaged right in people's backyards along American Ranch and that country in there. So it's right up against people's backyards. The heavy air tanker, they call the VLAT, the DC-10, the very large air tanker, we used 8 loads yesterday around those neighborhoods trying to keep that fire in check, and we still had fires spotting out in some of the neighborhoods.
And if you flank it to the northwest, and it sounds like you're trying to do, are there homes down the way?
Yes,
that
there
could
is,
be
sir.
endangered?
Yes, there is, sir. We're evaluating that right now,
Some more evacuations possibly?
possibly.
Okay.
What about the conditions of the fire crews that are out there? Talk a little bit about the conditions they're having to deal with.
The conditions, it's pretty self-explanatory. You look out the window and it's in a steep, rocky country with very flashy, flammable fuels. And, they're going to be challenged. The thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to bring that fire down to the flats so we're not putting those firefighters in harm's way, exposing them to all the elements. So, there may be some indirect tactics to help us secure that fire line and not put those firefighters in a place where they're going to get hurt.
Right now, it seems like your air attacks are going to be the most effective. Is that true?
Well, the air attack is only as effective if I can put resources, boots on the ground to support them, because that retardant's only good for about an hour and a half with these conditions, and I can use my heavy helicopters to freshen that up. But you've got to have boots on the ground following up with some direct line construction to make that stuff effective.
Okay, you got the Type 1 crews on the ground right now, and they got 1 foot in the black, 1 foot in the
That's
green.
right. We got 25 crews. Like I said, on the ground last night, we had about 12 crews, hotshot crews, and we got more crews coming.
Has fires reached the communities of the Mint Creek subdivision or Inscription Canyon?
Right now, we have the south end of Mint Creek being is evacuated, and I'm sure, as the day goes by, how successful we will determine if we need any more evacuations.
How many total firefighters do you have in a 25 crews boat?
When we're done by the close of business today, I'd estimate we'll probably have 600 firefighters on the ground.
And what shifts are they working?
They're working 24 hours a day. They're 2 shifts, a day shift and a night shift.
For a 24-hour shift?
16-hour shifts is a normal shift, 12 to 16 hours.
When does the wind speed become a problem for their assets?
Once it exceeds about 30, 35 miles an hour, and hopefully we won't meet that threshold today.
What are you seeing right now with wind?
18 to 20.
What's predicted?
Southwest, 18 to 25 with gusts to 30. So we're going to be right on the threshold.
What radio station do you work with so the public can get information?
Mary can answer that one. What radio station are we working with?
We're working with all of our usual local radios and media outlets. Asking for your patience again. Our regular public affairs person has been on vacation, so we're trying to get all the lists out. So we're out there and getting stuff posted. We are posting information on ncweb.org, and we are connecting with Yavapai County Emergency Management website. Again, as we transition, some information falls through, but thanks to you all being here, we're getting that information out as well. We are getting.
Web has been having some terrible issues.
It always
since the
does.
fire started.
It always
does.
does.
Haven't been able to get on it.
Yes, that's why we're trying to utilize other social media outlets. We've got a Facebook account set up for the incident.
We're gonna put some maps on there.
It's all in progress, yes.
Yep,
We
we
just
just-
had this for what, 3 hours?
3 hours. My commitment to you is to get the information out as quick and as accurate as possible to you.
Can you tell us about what firefighters are going through right now, just how hard it is for them to try to get this under control and some of the challenges they're facing right now?
Well, first of all, you got the environmental conditions, is the weather outside, hot and dry. Secondly, when you're doing a direct strategy, they're up close to the fire, and it's terrain, weather, they're all physically fit. They're prepared to do the job. The fire season in the Southwest hasn't been all that strong. New Mexico has had some. Firefighters and the crews that are out there are relatively in good shape. We'll monitor their condition. Our intent is to work them and be successful, but at the same time take care of them to make sure that they can work again tomorrow.
And how are you stopping the fires from getting so close to these homes?
As I said before, we're doing a direct tactic and using air tanker support.
Anything else on the ground though?
Crews, engines, air tankers, helicopters. With the whole arsenal of stuff I just explained to you is in the process of suppressing the fire so it doesn't come to the homes.
Is there a scenario where you might need more firefighting resources?
Give me 24 hours and I can tell you better.
I spoke to a guy who said that he heard gunfire out there from guys shooting ammunition. Can you speak to the cause?
I cannot speak to the cause. I'm here to fight the fire. Once it starts, they call me, and it's under investigation, is what I've been told in my briefing this morning.
There's
Can you talk
concerns
some
about
of the
people with
structure protection?
livestock.
Excuse me?
There's people concerned about their livestock horses out there.
Prescott Rodeo Grounds, working with the Yavapai County Emergency Management, has a place for those people to bring their horses and other animals.
Have you heard about any losses of animals or livestock?
No, sir, I have not.
How wide are those dozer lines? How wide do you need to cut those?
Probably 6 to 8 feet wide.
Oh.
Yeah. What's happening on that west side to kind of further that, the wind is at their backs, so it's pushing the fire away from them. So as they cut that dozer line, that fire's working its way down to them, or they're creating a backfire operation to run the fire back into itself.
Can you talk about what's going to happen when it gets down to the different terrain? Because right now it's up in the hills and the trees. It's going down to grassland.
Well, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for us to get after it. How's that?
What kind of structure protection are you doing on those homes there? You got the crews in there doing, how many people are working on that?
Well, last night at the peak, I bet we had 30 engines and 5 crews in there, and what they're doing is, as the fire was running down off the hill, threatening those houses, the engine companies were pulling lines and knocking down fire along with the fixed-wing air tankers trying to knock the fire before it got to the houses. We had a couple of houses last night. We had fire right in their back porches. Central Yavapai, City of Prescott Fire Departments did an outstanding job in there.
What road was that around?
It was in the American Ranch. There's so many roads back in there, I can't recall what road. We were pretty much running and gunning last night on it.
Concerned about embers, especially if the winds kick up?
Always. Long and short term spotting is always an issue. Last night when it came off, we had spotting out into the grasslands, and we were doing a running attack on that.
And can those wind gusts actually help you depending on the direction of those winds?
Yes, sir. If we get winds out of the southwest, like I said, on that west flank, it's actually got the wind at our back, and it is helping us.
You said it's coming out of the southwest, right?
Out of the southwest, blowing to the northeast.
Is there a general equation on how you get things contained, on the percentage of containment?
Yeah, the strategy. Yeah, the strategy is flank on both sides, and you know, we're assessing a point up on the north end, northeast end, that we can cut a containment line and pinch it to that point.
Are you aware if this is an area that may have some kind of mines involved with it, and if so, are you concerned about that?
I'm always concerned about firefighter safety and mines. None that I'm aware of, sir.
Any injuries or?
Nothing to date, sir.
Are all the fire crews from Arizona, and where have they come in from?
There's fire crews here from all around the western United States. There were crews. The Forest Service had done a wonderful job in pre-positioning resources here, so anticipating any type of fire. So I saw crews last night from Idaho. I saw crews from a bunch of places, a lot of places from New Mexico and Arizona.
Can you talk about specific areas that should be, where people should be maybe just getting ready? Roads, subdivisions?
Until afternoon, 1 o'clock today, Joanne, I'll be able to give you a better look. My operations section chiefs are flying. They're getting some good situational awareness about the next place to go and what's they're working closely with Yavapai County Sheriff's Department, Yavapai County Emergency Management on all the evacuations.
But typically in a forest, you guys are very concerned about defensible space, but the homes in this area seem like that they've been very good with defensible space. What are you concerned about with these homes?
Yeah, when I drove around American Ranch, especially, that comment is true. Those people in American Ranch have done a great job, and most of the stuff we saw was pretty good. But there's always concern. You've got embers and eaves, and you've got firewood piles, and you've got all the suspect of characters that'll cause you issues. Not only saying the direct flame impingement if we get them close enough.
Does this particular type of fuel make it easier or harder to fight the fire? Juniper, sage, I don't know what, chaparral, whatever else you got up there. Is it easier to fight that way?
It's very flashy fuel, high risk to the firefighters. As I told you, the fire moves very quickly. Once it goes past through, there's not a lot of overall mop up. So the time that we'll have to spend doing that will definitely be cut down.
How long can you hold off those flames, or can you hold off those flames from reaching those homes in that, I believe you said, the American Ranch area?
We can do our best on the resources we have, sir.
Okay, we're going to take 2 more questions in keeping this brief, and then we're going to move on.
I'd like to hear a more specific answer to the question on the radio stations, because when you say the usual stations and the usual media, I went through the usual stations and I didn't come up with anything. I think for future, if we had a specific station, for example, COM has a very strong signal, and we knew that every half hour or whatever, we were getting information from that specific station, that would be helpful. I live in Royal Oaks, and I was spinning dials and not coming up with it.
You know, several of us are here. Radio Shine 90.9 FM. We are breaking in every quarter hour with information and have very detailed information up on our website.
There you go.
Radioshine.org.
Radioshine.org.
And again, as Mary,
There's several.
and as Mary said, we've only been here 3 hours, so let us go through a 24-hour period and see if we can't make it better for you.
And
It seemed like the flames had moved back towards Granite Mountain. And what about the homes that are farther south? Are you concerned about those? Like around Flint Chandra Drive and Granite Oaks, that kind of thing?
As I stated already, I'm concerned about everything's out in front of the thing. So, you know, until I get a 24-hour assessment, right now, the crews are out there trying to keep the stuff out of the homes, and they'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to make assessments, and we'll continue to give you updates. Okay?
Are you going to have a community meeting today?
we're going to get to that in a minute. We have another speaker we'd like to present.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Do you know when that will be?
Hang on a sec. We have with us Stephanie Hillig. She's the incoming principal for Prescott High School. And she has a general announcement, and then we'll follow up with those other announcements.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Just on behalf of Prescott High School and Prescott Unified School District, we are working very closely with the Forest Service in making sure that all efforts, we're meeting the needs of everything that they need to do to make sure they're fighting this fire appropriately. All of our summer school programs are still running as scheduled. The exception to that is the locations being used at Prescott High School. We have moved all summer school, with the exception of ESY, to Mile High Middle School. Mile High Middle School is going to be the main contact for schools if you need to get any information. Prescott High School will be available via email and phone, and we will still be servicing our community, but we were asking the community to not come to the high school. We are using that location for all administrative purposes for the Forest Service. So if you have anything that you need to communicate with the high school, please either do it by email or phone, or go through our district office or Mile High Middle School. In addition to that, as I said, elementary schools, Mile High, and Granite Mountain summer school programs are running normal as scheduled. Any athletic events or any clubs that were leasing or using Prescott High School for tournaments, those have all been moved to different locations, either city leagues or city fields, or to Mile High Middle School again. We're trying to avoid Granite Mountain, obviously because of the location. And so if you have any specific questions about where events are being held, please contact our district office, or again, you can call Prescott High School or Mile High Middle School. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. All right, just real quick, and again, I want to thank all the media for coming out. If you want to send me your information as far as when you're updating the news, the radio, that stuff, I'll put that on our website, which is the regionalinfo-alert.org, and I'll put those schedules up there. We also are just asking anybody that's been evacuated. We're getting a lot of calls, people asking, when can we go back? We will let you know when that happens. So just hang tight, and we'll put it out on the website as soon as we know. So just please be patient with us. Mary has one more announcement.
Regarding a community meeting, we're making plans to set one up for tomorrow evening. Again, I'll ask for your patience. We want to verify a good location, and we're going to get that posted out later today. But we are planning that for tomorrow evening. Also, for all of those folks that have been evacuated, the intent is that the Forest Service agency administrator and a couple other folks are going to be visiting at the Red Cross shelter located at the gymnasium, Yavapai College, this evening around 1800. So again, it'll be informal and there to basically touch base with evacuated folks, answer their questions, and check on their needs. So we'll get out the information when we have the location for the community meeting tomorrow evening. And then as far as a follow-up press briefing, we are going to be moving over, setting up a spot for you all over at the high school. It's going to take a little bit, but I'd like to schedule the next one for you about 4:30 p.m. if that'll work. Okay? And I'm around after the briefing to get individual information and help get you dialed in.
One last question. For people who are going to be evacuated, is there a phone number for family members to call or a website to go to make sure that their loved ones are okay?
My understanding is the Red Cross does have a registration information line at the Yavapai College. Do you know?
I don't know the number. It's
Okay.
1-800 Red Cross, and then they also have a website. I
Okay.
don't know the website.
Okay, so maybe you have to Google Red Cross, Yavapai County.
1-800 Red Cross.
Pardon?
1-800
1-800 Red Cross. And we do encourage folks to check in just so they can connect with folks and loved ones.
All right, thank you guys
Thank
very
you.
much. That'll wrap it up.